Okay, Jesse, when you're ready.
Okay, this is Jesse live from Banning Beaumont. Don't know what to do. We got 15 seconds to go. Woohoo!
Like you're a, what's it called?
It's a Mario. We have 5 seconds.
Okay, I'll go with that.
No.
I was going to go for a Tigger, but.
Okay.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Live, Periscope TV, Alexa. It's where it's at. If you ever want to find us on any of the amazing platforms that we're on, you can do so. Just download our app. It's free. KMET, 1490 AM. You can take us anywhere with you around the world and beyond, actually. There's ways to take us beyond the world as well. Speaking of which, you got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there, which gave me a little bit of information regarding Neil Armstrong. Jesse, would you like to share that?
Good morning. Oh, yes. It's just think about this. Neil Armstrong, Neil A. If you spell it backwards, it's aliens. So just remember that. Dumb, 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 because it is dumb. But no,
no, it's perfect. You know why? I grew up on Neil Armstrong Street. I'm an alien, Jesse. Yeah, there's a Neil Armstrong Street, actually. I kid you not. 1661, Neil Armstrong, unit number. What was my number? I think 103 or something like that. Anyway, in Montebello, I kid you not. I grew up in Neil Armstrong. I did not know enough about Neil Armstrong. But why are we talking about that, Jesse? You got some interesting news over there I had no idea about, and I feel the public wants to at least hear what's going on. Because you know what, I'm ready for new news. So Jesse, what's going on over there that you found out about a stimulus plan?
Okay, yeah. So apparently, I saw an art. Do you want me to go into the first news article or the stimulus plan first?
Whichever one makes more sense, so that people understand why we're talking about aliens at the top of the hour.
Okay, so the first story was about there was a UFO sighting in Oahu. I saw the video. It was actually really cool because it was like this giant oblong blue light, and a lot of people saw it. So it wasn't just one person, which is what I like. I like various people seeing it. So yeah, so that was our main discussion this morning. And
let me bring that up for those that kind of don't know, because I'm not going to lie. I wanted to know more, and I've seen that lately. This has kind of been a trend in the last couple of weeks. Did you notice this?
What?
Alien, or alien sightings and UFOs?
Oh, yes, I have heard about that.
Yeah, like if I pull up one right now, I'm seeing like multiple stories on this. So I'm going to go to UFO mysteriously hovers around in Oahu. And this is from the Latin Times, and it reads as this way. The questionable object hovered about for a bit before nosediving into the ocean. Unsurprisingly, onlookers were surprised by what they witnessed. One person named Mariah, one of the women who spotted the object looming over Princess Kahanu Estates, says, I look up and then I was like, oh, bleep. I started calling my husband, and then because they were all in the garage, I was like, hey, come look up here, see if you see what I see. They all said, yeah, I don't know what it was. This one was going so fast, it went land in the water, whatever it is. So according to this happened. Scores of Hawaiians alerted the Federal Aviation Administration and 911 on Tuesday after they chanced upon and videotaped a bright blue, glowing oblong, unidentified flying object hovering above the skies of Leeward, Oahu at 8:30 p.m. last Tuesday. That was December 28th, 2020. So, Jesse, go ahead and take it away from there.
Okay, yeah. So the other part of the article, comments for the article, was about apparently the Pentagon has 180 days to disclose UFO information to Congress. Now, I was just like, what's that about? So apparently near the end of the 6,000-page stimulus bill, there's a little part that says the Pentagon has to let Congress know about UFOs. So I'm still gonna look into it because it's incredibly weird. And my thing is, who put that at the end of the stimulus bill, and why didn't anybody read it?
And what does one thing have to do with the other? Like, hey, as long as we're getting paid, why don't you tell us about the UFOs? I can see some people wanting that information. I do listen to the show called Coast to Coast. I love that show. And I remember hearing certain experts go, I think maybe they want to come out or maybe they don't. I don't really know. But here's the information. I'm looking at independent.co.uk, which is a United Kingdom article on this very subject. There was let's see. Here it is. The headline, COVID bill includes a 180-day countdown for Pentagon to make UFO disclosures. Okay. Attached to the 5,593-page coronavirus relief bill the president signed on Sunday is an unexpected proposition, a request for the Pentagon to brief Congress on all it knows about unidentified flying objects within 180 days. Though not in the text of the law itself, a comment from the Senate Intelligence Committee attached to a portion of the package funding intelligence operations asks the Director of National Intelligence to consult with other top defense officials and spy chiefs to submit a report on unidentified aerial phenomena, known as UAP, the government argot for UFOs, within 6 months. The briefing will cover observed airborne objects that have not been identified and feature detailed analysis of unidentified phenomena or data collected by geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence, and measurement and signals intelligence. Oh, I get it. Because, what kind of signal are they operating on? A Defense Department spokesperson told New York Post, which reported on the news, that it was aware of the request. According to this, they are saying, we are aware that the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence Committee report on the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal 2021 included a requirement for the Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense, to submit a report on unidentified aerial phenomena within 180 days of enactment. Though it's not law, former officials said the request was a new high watermark when it comes to the government publicly exploring the existence of UAPs. Christopher Mellon, who's a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and former staff director of the U.S. Intelligence Committee, said this: it's now fair to say that the request for an unclassified report on the UAP phenomenon enjoys the support of both parties in both houses of Congress. Assuming the executive branch honors this important request, the nation will at long last have an objective basis for assessing the validity of the issue and its national security implications. This is an extraordinary and long overdue opportunity. So there you go, Jesse. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just want to know if aliens are here. But to be honest, let's be real. The vast majority of those UFO sightings are not really UFOs. They're more than likely, like new prototype airplanes that they're testing out or something.
Okay, I'll go with that. Look, at the end of the day, do you believe in aliens or not? And I think at the very end of it all, I think many people forget to ask, why have they not shown themselves up until now? Or are they looking for something on the planet? Or are they like going, we need to find something really quick to save humanity? I don't know, because I think, the route that humans have been going has been kind of a self-destructive situation. But hey, if they're ready to come out, then, I'm okay with that. I think the question is, who knows about them already that wants it out to the public? Because it's not like, I don't think government, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, for example, Men in Black. How many different stories do we have of certain police agencies that actually work with and or help aliens? Just out of curiosity. Do you know of any, Jesse?
No, I do not.
Neither do I. But my question is, do they exist? And if they do they really want their stuff out there just yet? I don't know. But I do know, we're looking at your comments. Aliens, do they exist? Do they not exist? You let us know on social media. Let's see. Look, I'm all for this. As long as they're peace-loving, they're kind, and they want to help mankind and not, like, create a bad situation or go from bad to worse, I say yay. And I think the majority probably that if they are here are probably wanting to be peaceful. I would imagine. I can't imagine anything worse than that, right? Because if you have ones here on the planet and or just visiting, the question is, why do they visit and why do they want themselves outed? I don't know that they do just yet. Or do they already have special government interest already? Because I kid you not, I was telling you, Jesse, there was a documentary I saw, and you like to watch Ancient Aliens a lot, right?
Yeah, I like that show.
Yeah,
It's
me
fun.
too. And there were a couple shows talking about in the 1950s where evidently like an alien met one of the presidents at the time and actually did so in the high desert, believe it or not. So the question really is, are they ready to be outed, or why was it classified way back then? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I got questions that need to be answered as well, but I don't know that I want my information out there if I was a peace-loving alien trying to hide from COVID-19. So I got questions, but there you go. All right, people. Let us know what you think about this discussion. Have you thought about it? Do you think about it? And is this something you think you want to know more about? Because aliens, look, I tell Jesse all the time, I think technically in one way or form, we're kind of aliens on this planet ourselves. Does that make sense? Who are here first? People and or animals and or plants?
Ooh, good question. I don't know. I'm going to say plants. Maybe.
Look, and are plants alive?
If so, I feel bad because the lettuce and tomatoes I eat are screaming in pain.
Or maybe they are. I don't know. But my point is, okay, you got plants, right? And they've been able to see that they actually communicate in harmonic frequency as well, right? I think there was a movie on that where the plants end up like causing a lot of problems for people. I can't remember what movie that was. Somebody might remember that. And they found out that it was the plants that were trying, or Mother Nature or the Earth energy, right? And then you've got other ones that are, of course, the animal kind, right? So you've got mankind, of course, you got humankind, you got all kind, but are people kind right now? No. Are they getting along? No. Are they creating more problems for plant energy, plant life, and plant everything? Yes. How many times is the earth kind of going around in circles where people are like, are we saving humanity? Are we saving life? Are we saving our planet? At the end of the day, no. So my question is, I hope that this bill also includes, hey, why don't we all get along in the end and work together? And maybe that's why we need the information out there rather than a smokescreen saying, yeah, I just wonder, back to your question, why is it in a relief bill? Doesn't that, because I know every so many years they have to declassify certain information and then they reclassify things and then they just let out a little. So I think at the end of the day, the question is, how much little will they let out? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And what's going to be like redacted, and it's a lot of questions that I want to know.
Yeah. And hey, the monoliths, I think there was another monolith that came out of the sky. Did you read that?
No, was it made out of gingerbread like the one in San Francisco?
No, this was another one that, like, we're starting to hear more monolith stories, which is like, is this, what's the deal? Another one mysteriously popped up in Waukesha County grounds. And this one actually looks a little bit more official than the other. So is this their way of saying, hey, whoa, or maybe they're marking their territory? I don't know. Other than the gingerbread one, of course, which is pretty. I mean, maybe aliens like to bake. I don't know. I got questions. I need answers. If anybody has any 411 on that, let me know. And by the way, 411 means info. I had a young one ask me, what's 411? I go, oh, that's right. You never called in. Remember 411, Jesse?
Yes, I used 411 quite often back in the days when we had like payphones and stuff.
Yeah, so right, and 411 was for info, right? You would call 411, you'd say, I'd like to know, right? Or you would say, what else? Or you would find out, like, I think, I can't remember what else we would, it was like, what, 30 years ago, I want to say that we used that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been such a long time. And it's just like, I only use that if I ever need information, like as like a slang or something. Like, what's the 411?
Yeah, exactly. The 411 service allows you to obtain the addresses and phone numbers of individuals and businesses entered in the phone directory at all times. The information requested during a 411 call is sent to you in a text message. That's how they've updated it, by the way. But we used to use it way back in the day. I want to say, the 80s and 90s, I believe. And we used to call 411 just for info, right? Or you'd be able to get, I think at one point they started doing movie times, I think, but that's when we used to like look at, we had so many different 611 is now a thing, right? 911 is pretty common, but 411 was an info, but I never used it the way. But anyway, I say 411 all the time, and I realized this young one was like, what's 411? I go, oh, I'm sorry, it was probably before your time, which technically it was, because it's just a thing. So now I want to call 411 and see what they do. But there you go. Useful numbers are 911 and 411. And evidently they could send it to you in a text message. Hold on, wait, I got questions. Okay, we're going to take a break here from the norm. We know it's all coronavirus news and President Trump news. Let's switch it up a little, all right? We'll be right back right after these messages with more. All right, 411. I haven't used it in a while, by the way. This is an interesting site. Videotron business. Okay. I don't know what Videotron is. Sounds very futuristic. You have access to local directory assistance no matter where you are in North America. Okay, that's 411 service. It allows you to obtain addresses, phone numbers of individuals and businesses entered in the phone directory at all times. This number also offers you information on the weather. Oh, I was right. Movie showtimes or road maps. Did you know that, Jesse?
Road maps? No, because back in the days we had, what were they called? Thomas guides?
Yeah. I was a messenger at one point. I used a Thomas guide. I hated that thing, but boy, oh boy, are they helpful.
Yeah, it's a lifesaver.
The information requested, address and or phone number of an individual or business during a 411 call is sent to you in a text message. Huh. I have questions that need to be answered.
Is star 69 still a thing?
Oh, remember that? That was, what was that? To block your...
That's to call somebody back that called you.
There were like all these little...
There was star 68, I think, which hid your number.
Yeah.
Which I used all the time to call my friend, be like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And then he called me. He's all like, "Did you just call me and mess with?" No, I'm working. Leave me alone.
Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. There's a way to do that and pretend to be somebody else's call. Did you know that?
No, probably best if I didn't do that.
It is actually. I've tried it. It's pretty cool. So let's see. What is call return and how do I use it? Yes, star 69 automatically dials your last incoming call, whether the call was answered, unanswered, or busy. Huh.
40 seconds.
How many are getting all those, like, I get like 5 a day of recordings calling.
I get at least 1 or 2.
And I wonder how many like take your voice and manipulate it to sound like somebody else. You know what I mean?
I usually answer it in a weird voice, so it wouldn't work with me.
What do you do? How do you answer?
It's not good. I'm not going to put it on there. We got 10 seconds.
What do you do?
Beep, boop, beep. What do you want? 2 seconds.
And it goes, live. Hello, Jesse. I'm so glad you were alive. Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. A lot of you got questions. We got answers. Let's go to the social media chat room over there and see what everybody's talking about. During the break, we did confirm 411 is still in use, actually. I don't know how they work it or if it's a recording and or like a robot that you ask questions of. But the 411 service allows you to obtain the addresses and phone numbers of individuals and businesses entered in the phone directory at all times. The number also offers you information on the weather, movie showtimes, or road maps. I remember they used to charge you, I believe, for that service, right? Don't they? Because I remember they used to charge for a certain amount. So it's not like you could go on there and, do it all the time. But I don't know if it's free or I believe they still charge, Jesse.
For what, the 411 calls?
Yeah, because they were like,
I believe they're like $1 or $2 for.
Is that how much it went up? Because it used to be like 39 cents. It used to be charged to the phone bill. I remember that. Yeah. So I'm sure it got outdated because now you Google everything. You're like free. But there you go. Interesting information, and especially the road maps in the event that maybe you have a rotary dial phone and you're still thinking, how do I make a mobile phone work? I don't know.
Did you say rotary? What is this, 1972?
You don't remember rotary?
I remember rotary. Like, if you were to show a rotary phone to a younger kid, they probably wouldn't know what to do with it.
They've tested that. They often don't. They're like, how do I use this thing? It's like you have to watch a movie. You're like, oh, right. You go, yeah,
Right.
like that.
So, like in an emergency at 911, you really don't want to use a rotary phone because then you're just like, wait. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I agree. Or like if your fingers got cut off, you're like, oh no, I can't. How do I do it? You take a pencil and you just like.
Okay, you went extreme.
But how do you do that? You have to do it with your mouth. I know I'm going horror style. I don't know why. I'm just like, but I guess with the doot doot doot, right, or the little beep beep beep, or I don't know. Did you ever watch Rockford Files back in the day?
I've seen a couple episodes. I don't remember too much, but I remember a little bit.
Yeah, in Rockford Files, he would play certain like tape recordings, and then he would find out how the doot doot doot, and then he would replay it slowly, and then he would do it. It was good. It was by James Garner was Rockford in Rockford Files. I used to watch that all the time. Super sleuth, technically is always what he was. But anyway, all right, let's go back to chat room phenomena over here. Let's see. We've got Stephanie Reed who says hello, happy editing this glorious day for today's busy day ahead. Woke up with just a cold. It's not COVID, just a cold. You had that a couple of times, huh, Jesse?
Yeah, a couple of times. But you know what? I also have allergies. So when I'm like cleaning, like dusting or whatever, my nose tends to clog up. And I start sneezing. I don't have COVID, allergies.
Yeah, and you did. You got clear of it. You had a cold a couple of times, actually. Let's see. Okay, this Katya Wunderland says, good morning, everyone. Wish you a good and safe time. Let's see. From Switzerland, thank you. Bobby says, I want to know green men data. I don't know. And why are they green? I don't know the answer to that. Do you know anything about that, Jesse?
No, I do not. I think he's talking about the aliens. Like, why are there green aliens?
Because I think there's different types, right? There's grays. There's
reptilians, if you want to go there.
Yeah, there's a whole classification of different aliens, which are technically, I believe, they say already on Earth. So it's not anything new. It's just a matter of if everybody wants that information now. Bobby says, the Great Kazoo, why is he so tiny and green? Superman Reborn, Superman or Superman Reborn? I'm not sure which it is. Maria says, I don't know if I believe, but when I was a little girl, we saw some jet, or I don't know what it was, flying below the treetops in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. The Air Force said, just forget about it. When my older brother called them, but they took our info all the same. Just forget about it. Yeah, that's forget about it, right? Don't forget about it. Just hold on to your memory of that. Let's see. Bobby says, I used to call payphones to talk to random people. Is that what you did too, Jesse?
No, not always. But you know what? I used to pick up random. Sometimes when a payphone would ring, I would randomly pick it up. Because if a phone rings, you got to pick it up. You don't know who's on the other end.
Unless it's like the Matrix. And then you go.
Now that I think about it, the person on the other line was a bunch of weird sounds. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. It messes with your brain biology. It's called neural molecular structure phenomenon. It's a book I'm about to write. All right. Mario says, someone in Windsor newspaper reported something he couldn't explain that night in the skies the next day. Mario also says, in Canada, all the Star 69 and so on still, they still work. Yes. Judy over there, Munoz, says, watching from Wheatland, Wyoming at Daughter Crystals. Awesome. At your Daughter Crystals. Got it. Okay. And so there you go. So, okay, why are we talking about aliens? Obviously, Jesse, you want to refresh that news story?
Yeah, because there was a major, well, not a major sighting, but there was a sighting in Oahu, and, various people saw it. It was an amazing sight. If you haven't seen the video, type it in. It's just a really strange video, and I like to see how people can try and say what it is, whether it's a weather balloon or I don't know, skydivers with lights on their legs or something. Who knows? It's just, it looks really weird to be a ship or something. So I don't know.
Well, I am looking at this, by the way. The Department of Defense established a UAPTF to improve its understanding of and gain insight into the nature and origins of UAPs. The mission of the task force is to detect, analyze, and catalog UAPs that could potentially pose a threat to U.S. national security. National security, more than a desire to probe the great beyond, seems to have been the motivating factor to keep publicly exploring these phenomena, which I don't understand that because they've been exploring it for a long time. Like they're always exploring it, but it's not like nobody has the answer here. Senator Marco Rubio, a Florida Republican who chairs the Intel Committee, who made the request, said to a CBS affiliate in Miami in July he was concerned UAPs could be connected to some technological leap from U.S. adversaries like China or Russia. Maybe there's a completely sort of boring explanation for it, he said, but we need to find out. I think it's above his pay grade. I don't think government doesn't know about this already, right? This is how they so when people get told, oh, forget about it, don't talk about it, or they try to misalign people because they start coming out about stuff like that, you got to ask, well, okay, but whatever. But what is it doing in a stimulus plan? Seriously, that's my question of the day. Well, are we supposed to talk about the financials for the country and our people? Why is it stuck in a 5,593 page document as though it's like, hey, nobody will read this. They just need it done. And then they threw it in there for it all to be found out. I don't know. I have questions. Who wrote that portion right in there? And did all of Republicans and Democratic, did they really read it all and then they go, oh yeah, I like that? Or did they go, can we debate this a little further because we need more money? Then how much was the stimulus plan, by the way? Let's focus on that.
Right? How much was that? I think it was 900 billion,
which is still not enough. They needed 2.3 trillion. I already said this, and this is what they were like. But they think it's going to be like a phased version, which I think, again, they anyway. If they meet, how long has it been since the last one? Like 8 months. So let them get back. I don't know if they're going to wait another 8 months. It's seriously dumb. But there you go. If aliens, you do exist, can you kind of like help us out with some of the dumb ones in the area? Because I don't think they're as smart as you. I'm just saying, if you are able to fly pretty cool, UFO type things, you have smart stuff in your head, not these dumb ones. All right, people, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, I'm all for an alien show if you guys want to talk aliens all day. I mean, I don't know how the station would feel about it though. They're like, we have morning show content to cover, so I don't really know. But and then I feel like some aliens are just like, why are you talking about my business?
Right? It's not like, we have to get rid of Aaron now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So one of the things that I mentioned how it could be like,
or
ships.
you, Jesse, because you brought it up. Just saying. So if I go missing, you probably go missing too. Just saying. Right.
I probably will. You know how I said they could be like experimental ships and stuff. I went to when I was in high school, I was in the junior ROTC, and we took a trip to Edwards Air Force Base because they had a NASA station there or something like that. So they do the little tour. They're showing us around, and I stopped and I looked at these planes. I was like, "What's that?" It looked like a UFO. It looked like a mini UFO, and he was explaining that what it was it's a drop ship where they drag it along and they just let it like soar down or something like that. So that was kind of weird.
Like a drag ship for an alien technology, or a drag ship like
it was like a gliding ship, like a glider.
Okay.
And the way it was shaped, it looked like a UFO saucer, except for it had like a more like a diamond look to it. But it was so weird. So weird.
See, I would think this. If you're an alien generation that wants to be found and or discovered, A, you want to make things right. B, you want to help out humanity. And C, you certainly don't want to take out the planet, right?
No.
Because I feel there's other technologies and or life forms like in the great beyond, which are probably looking down from like far away and going, are they ready for that? You know what I mean? Or am I alone on that?
No, I want to say we're ready for the UFOs and aliens, but let's be real, we're not.
I think a handful are ready.
Yeah, like
I don't think the majority are ready.
And there's too many.
And if there are, and if they are they willing to be like, All right, cool. You're my next door neighbor. All right, didn't know it. Cool, cool, cool. You know, I just don't know.
10 seconds.
We need a poll here. Are you guys ready? And if so, would you be okay with that? Can't hear. Are aliens attacking your audio? Also known as Buddy Dude. Oh no! They could
2
be.
seconds. Coming back.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Hopefully you hear us here on the social media chat room. Yes, we got somebody also known as Buddy Dude says, I can't hear. Are aliens attacking your audio? Oh no, sometimes that happens. Or it's government conspiracy. We get taken off all the time. Just kidding. We never talk aliens, actually. We talk morning show stuff. But in reality, these are things that are public on the airwaves already, because this is news coming in about the stimulus check and what's that mean for everybody. Here's the surface story. $600 stimulus payments on the way, where we stand on the $2,000 check. Now, I will say the other one, I haven't checked it thoroughly, and, you know, maybe it's fake news or falsified news, but I tend to skew on the part of it would be interesting if it was real news. So I think we still have to research that, Jesse. But at the end of the day, I don't know. All I know is many Americans saw the latest COVID-19 stimulus check arrive in their bank accounts over the last several days. Others, the check is literally in the mail. The second round of stimulus checks, up to $600 per individual or $1,200 for married couples with $600 for dependents, arrived via direct deposit starting last week. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin announced that the IRS began mailing paper stimulus checks on December 30th to those without direct deposit information on file with the agency. With the January 1st holiday delaying service, many people will find their stimulus funds in their mailboxes already. Meanwhile, those who haven't received their stimulus checks are left waiting. The IRS said it plans to launch its Get My Payment tool, similar to the one used during the March CARES Act, in the coming days. Once that happens, people can input their information and track their stimulus funds. The IRS is operating under a deadline. The stimulus package placed a January 15th cutoff for the second round of payments to be distributed. People that don't receive the full payment by then are able to claim all or part of the missing amount when they file their federal tax returns in 2021 through the IRS Recovery Rebate Credit. The second round of stimulus pays the full amount to individuals earning up to $75,000 and $1,200 for married couples earning up to $150,000. The $600 stimulus may be arriving, but many people were hoping the second round would bring more, a lot more. Congress has been considering a $2,000 per person stimulus payment backed by the odd combination of both President Trump and Democrats. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blocked attempts to move forward with the higher stimulus amounts, however, and now it will be up to the 117th Congress to craft its own plan. President-elect Biden has signaled the support that he support a third round, calling the $600 checks a down payment on future stimulus. When asked about the possibilities of another direct payment, Biden said it was a negotiating issue, but added, it will. I have no idea what that means. Biden is set to take office January 20th. So there you go. I got questions still that need to be answered. In reality, when people get money, what do they do with it, Jesse?
Yeah, they spend it immediately. They look at their rent or their food or their gas bill, electric, whatever. I'm pretty sure that 600 went like in the snap of a finger. It's just boom.
And I will say, for a lot of families out there, it's barely meeting their needs, right? Because I've seen some that are okay. I took a drive just the other day on Saturday, and I went around the city of LA, and I kid you not, there are so many, and I started in El Sereno and I went all the way around, and I saw so many homeless out there that are on the streets, like full on camps of tents. And if you haven't driven around LA anytime as of late, you won't even know it exists because everybody's indoors, right? So just, look, take a drive, inside your car, and, to get out in the sun a bit. I'm not saying you have to have a place to go, but just look around you and see reality and what it means for each and every one of us, because these are people literally living. If you drive down the 101 freeway, which is a very famous freeway, as of late, I drove down. I haven't been down that area for quite some time, between Sunset and south of Olvera Street. Okay. And you'll see on the sides those that are got their full hut set up because they're homeless, because they have nowhere to go. Why are we not addressing that as well? Why are we? Because in the area, I'm not going to lie, it smells odd. Like there's too much decay and things happening on the freeway, like off of the freeway, and it's just, you could tell, like if there were diseases being spread or born, like that's where it's going to happen. I'm not saying get rid of the people there. I'm just saying provide the necessary services to help them out. Right? Federal is still running, government's still running. Why can we not do that? A little bit more of that. So there's people barely surviving, and they're trying to survive in the cold. They're trying to survive in the weather outside. And it's a sad state of affairs. Back to aliens. If aliens exist, hey, help us help each other. But you know what I mean? So why are we going so high up and out when we got to focus on those on our planet Earth? I saw that, and it made me very sad. It made me very sad to see some even looked like families, to be honest, just kind of trying to make ends meet. There was another section I drove down in North Hollywood. It was like right up near Universal, right? Universal Studios and all that. And I drove, there's an In-N-Out on the opposite side of the 101 freeway. And in one of the parking lot areas, like there were sectioned off areas of people living out of their automobiles, kid you not. And I almost took a picture and wanted to show it because I'm like, this is the real life that I think people are forgetting about, because you are sticking inside. And I just like, well, who's taking care of these people, right? I'm not saying go and lock them up and put them somewhere because they're just trying to survive. Does that make sense? So are we so far along, President Trump and government, to say, are we forgetting those that are in our very own backyard, which most likely are families that are either A, been forgotten, or B, they don't know what to do? Did they have very little means, and are they trying to survive just any way they can through it all? And when are we going to be able to bounce back and be able to say, look, we're going to deal with the virus, we're going to deal with the people, we're going to help each other out. We're not going to lock them up, throw away the key, right? We're going to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's a way to get, maybe they have stimulus packages they don't even know how to get a hold of. I don't know. Not all of them are mentally unwell, by the way. Some of them are, I'm not going to lie, because I saw groups meeting in parks as well, 8, 10, 12 people at a time that were talking. That 2 were getting in a fight in Monrovia. I've been taking drives all around, and I'm like, what's going on with our world that we're not focusing on our own, very own backyard? And that's those are the ones outside of their homes, because they don't have homes. Some of them living literally in their vehicles. Okay, every now and then I take a little nap in the back of my vehicle. One person, I took a rest in Rancho Cucamonga, kid you not, and a security guard, which I was like in a public parking lot, right? And he's like, "You're not allowed here," and I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "It's private property." I'm like, "There's a Wiener Schnitzel right there. I don't understand what you're talking about." I was taking a nap in broad daylight, and I feel like I think he thought I was homeless, because the vehicle's not a brand new vehicle, right? It's like it's an outdated 4Runner, but at the end of the day, I was just taking a quick little. What was the time that you could take a quick little nap out in public in your own vehicle? That was in Rancho Cucamonga. There was, and by the way, all the shops were closed at the time. So I was like, okay, I need a little 20-minute nap. I'm a little tired. I don't want to get in a car accident on the freeway, and that's what I did. But at the end of the day, people are a little bit up in arms, going, "Where's your sense of humanity? Did you forget?" So. I think people forgot what it was like to be human, and I've been seeing it left and right and center when I go outside, and I go, okay, did we forget? Like, it's only been a few months. Did we forget how it was to be kind-hearted and loving and compassionate? I think we forgot. Somebody forgot. And the public just needs to be aware life is still moving forward with or without us. Okay, so be careful, be loving, and there you go. All right, people, I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, Jesse. Let's see what people are saying on social media. Let's go up here and let's pull up some of these things. Buddy Dude says, I have a negative blood. I think that classifies me. It was a gift from the gods. I'm not sure what that means, but I'll go with that. Fraser says, hey, how are you both? News for you, Scotland on full lockdown for midnight UK time. Oh, really? Shout out to Fraser Ramsey, who has his podcast over there. Been on his show. Glad to see you, Fraser. Hopefully you're doing well over there. Be careful. Maria says, I hear you both. Let's see. Oh, Maria says, I hear on all platforms, maybe they forgot to unmute Periscope. Yeah, I saw an update about Periscope. I'm not sure if they're getting rid of it or what's going on there. I hope they keep it. Bobby says, the world is locked down. The aliens are here on Earth. Fraser says, Communist Republic of Scotland. Flipping joke. Bobby says, how would we address that? The mayor's paid to fix that problem. Walmarts are designated rest areas on Earth. That makes sense, Bobby. That makes sense. I think Targets and what was the other one?
Which one? Target, Walmart. Those are the only main two that I know of.
Yeah.
Kmart doesn't exist anymore.
Yep, that makes sense. All right. So thank you all for your input there.
50 seconds.
Excuse me. It was sad. I had a good friend who asked, you're coughing, do you have coronavirus? I'm like, no, because her whole family has coronavirus.
Ooh.
Whole family. Some are in the hospital. And trying to deal with that is so difficult right now. So difficult. And, you know, it's sad because some of the kids are like trying to take care of the older ones, not knowing how the system works, how healthcare works, how like they just don't understand, right? So
10 seconds.
Yeah, it's a situation. It's really bad, but 2 are in the hospital right now, actually fighting for their lives, just so you know. So
wow.
Yeah.
Coming back.
All right, thanks. Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. On today's show, we got lots of stories to talk about. Coronavirus is still around. And if you don't think it is, you got to be careful out there. You really do. Over the weekend, I had a situation come up where a family friend actually got put into the hospital quite fast. I think I spoke last week about a whole family getting sick by one person, right? And that person kind of came and went and got everybody sick. That person's fine now, but it affected 2 of the family members, which are bunkering down in this house. And one is in a different hospital. The other one's in another hospital. And, I share that so that people understand how quick it could go from good to bad really quick. And what I mean by that is if you start feeling breathing problems happen, because there's all kinds of symptoms with COVID-19. And I feel some people have a lot of wrong information out there, especially the youth of our generation, because unfortunately, they're not kept up with all the information, right? And in this particular case, you've got, young ones, and I mean like teenagers and below, which are like trying to take care of their elderly parents and or older family members. And, I had to come in and kind of say, whoa, are you guys prepared for this? And, they had an aunt who is just in Arizona, thank God, who is a nurse. But at the same time, it was like I had to go to the hospital, check in with them. They're like, we don't accept visitors. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, I could be on the, because there's other people just waiting, for a doctor or a nurse to get with them, because you call these places and you're like 2-3 hours before you get any information on your family member, which is really ridiculous, right? Because if you need to make a decision or things go really fast bad, which they can, I know because my sister, things were like quick, fast, and furious. At first, it was like 48 hours I had to be there present. And then it was, okay, call in, see, my mom would, switch hit and she would be there. This was back in February. So I learned a lot, and I have a lot of professionals in the field of medicine, which again, sometimes they need to share more information because some of these doctors in our hospitals don't have all the latest, greatest information, unfortunately. They're going with old information or outdated information. Back to the World Health Organization, why they're so important to be able to be ahead of the mentality, because some are just because you get COVID-19 doesn't mean it's one size fits all. Does that make sense, Jesse?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's not. There's nothing that's one size fits all for everybody.
Yeah, pneumonia usually maybe a really big thing. If you get pneumonia, if you're susceptible to pneumonia and you get this, you are more at risk than not. High blood pressure, diabetes, and the like, all of those things have serious implications. And then there's some that manifest in other really weird ways. Okay, so sometimes you may get well, but then you have some other type of thing in you all of a sudden that kind of makes it worse. So if you feel you need to go to the hospital and or the doctors, don't be afraid to speak up, is my point. If you feel like the chest is starting to kind of be very difficult to breathe, but you think it's a cold and now you have a hard time breathing, make sure first to get tested, see if you have COVID-19. If you go to the hospital and you let them know in the ER, they'll get you tested right away. So then they'll confirm whether you have coronavirus or a regular cold and or flu, or go to one of the testing sites to get that done. But my point is this: speak up about it, okay? I feel a couple of these family members, unfortunately, were trying to kind of weather the storm. I'm like, no, I'll be fine. And then one was completely incoherent in the beginning of yesterday morning. So much so, she said she felt like in a dreamlike state. How do you deal with that next? The next question is, if this is your family member, what do you do? What do you do? Jesse, what would you do?
I have no idea. I have been thinking about that. Like, what if one of my family members was like on their deathbed or something with COVID? I would not know what to do. I would probably break down.
Well, so let me give you guys a couple of forewarnings ahead of time. I like to be what's called proactive and not reactive. Do you know what that means?
I want to say yes, but my memory is fading right now.
Okay, proactive is just ahead of the game in the event that it were to happen. For example, people set up a will, right?
Yeah.
People don't like to talk about wills, but they have to set up wills ahead of time. And I'm not saying everybody's going to die out there, but what I'm saying is the number's already 350,000 in the United States of America. So I'm not necessarily saying, hey, go get your will done right now, although it's not a bad thing, at least to make sure it's especially if you've got your wherewithal to be able to make sure that your family's taken care of. But when it comes to the hospital care, in the event that you pass out and or you're unconscious or you're thinking things that aren't there, for example, because of coronavirus, are you going to be able to help yourself? Like this, in this case, it was an ambulance because her breathing was a very bad situation. Okay, so the question is, are you going to be there for your family member, or are you going to be sick with coronavirus as well and not be able to visit in person, which in this case, all of them have coronavirus. Now, one of them is going to be past your coronavirus and definitely stronger for having had it already. But she's like on 2 days away from the end curtailing of it, but she can't go anywhere technically, right? Without passing it along. I mean, she could, other family members do. They kind of, dance around that, but hopefully they practice social distancing and or wear face masks for sure. But my point is this: power of attorney. Do you know what that is?
Yes. It's the ability to make life or death situations for somebody.
Well, yeah, or it's a form that you can fill out, and they have free ones it's LegalZoom has it. It's a legal document giving one person, the agent or attorney in fact, the power to act for another person. The agent can have broad legal authority or limited authority to make legal decisions about the principal's property, finances, or medical care. That's if you want major stuff, okay? But it can also be for your health and or what you want. And in cases like my sister, for example, I have more and then some along with my mom, and we share that. But if something were to happen with my mom, it goes on me, right? So I have to take care of my sister. But a general can be all sorts of things. And then there's ones for health. Durable power of attorney, some will ask you about that when you get checked in. Do you have one set up? And here it is. The durable power of attorney remains in control of certain legal, property, or financial matters specifically spelled out in the agreement, even after the principal becomes mentally incapacitated. While a durable power of attorney can pay medical bills on behalf of the principal, the durable agent cannot make decisions related to the principal's health. The principal can sign a durable power of attorney for health care or healthcare power of attorney if he wants an agent to have the power to make health-related decisions. The document, also called a healthcare proxy, outlines the principal's consent to give the agent privileges in the event of an unfortunate medical condition. The durable power of attorney for healthcare is legally bound to oversee medical care decisions on behalf of the principal. So you could get just that for your healthcare decisions. Does that make sense? And the reason being because sometimes family members, they go, what did the person want at the end of the day? Do they want to be resuscitated? Do they want like to be on life? And if they want to be on life-saving equipment, how long? There's so many questions that need to be answered, especially in this particular time, because I'm seeing a lot of people get hospitalized, unfortunately, and they completely, like in this situation, she can't speak for herself. She's now incubated overnight. This is within 48 hours. And so, helping out the family, I'm trying to like keep everybody like, hey, you guys need to speak up about this stuff ahead of time. That way you're ahead of the game rather than reactionary going, I don't know what to do next. So have that discussion with your family members and be okay about saying, look, if this were to happen, what are we going to do next? Okay, hopefully everybody will be fine. Usually think of grandma, grandpa, and the others. But the one that got sick, honestly, is about 48. And she's in the hospital. Her sister, I don't know her actual age. But my point is this. Do you really want to wait till it gets bad or worse at the end of the day? Granted, they didn't know it was going to happen that way. So it's not like their fault at all. But going forward, we all got to learn from each other's situations, and we got to be careful, each and every one of you. All right. Last comment of the day. Here it is. Maria says, this is why you should get tested or go to the ER and not wait. This was my 2021 start, a post I made January 1st. I'm thinking about that 40-something COVID-19 patient who told me that he can't die like this. I just got engaged, and I have a 6-month-old baby. I told him he won't. Turns out I lied, and now the tears won't stop. This hard on families and patients and healthcare staff. Mask up, people. So there you go. That's what Maria says. Yankopoulos, all the way from Canada, and she's in the healthcare industry, so she knows a lot about that as well. All right, people, we got to let you guys go. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, be safe out there, okay? Enjoy life, and just have those interesting conversations. Make sure you guys are on the same page. Bye, everyone. All right, for the rest of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for spending time with us. Again, just to kind of give some information on there, just be ahead of the game, okay? Focus on several things. Number one, in the event of an emergency, who is the primary point of contact? In the event that 2 or 3 are incapacitated and or living in the same house, who outside of the house can actually make important decisions and or reach outside of the family so that you can make important decisions in the event that all of you are incapacitated. What I mean by that is some are literally trying to take care of each other, and you got young ones being okay, in this case several teens being okay, but the older generation are like not able to comprehend certain things because their mind is getting too much with the COVID-19, so they're resting, they're trying to relax. But if you go into, in this case, like a dreamlike state, or you seem like you don't know real from reality, then of course that could be a big problem and or concern. So the question is, once get into the hospital care system, are they going to be taken care of? Are they going to be, what's the next step? Certain decisions have to be made literally on the fly. And again, I always talk about this back to the morning show back in March, late March, of course, in February and March. Candy, my sister, had a lot of situations come up. And at the time, Brenda Higuera and me actually made a lot of very important decisions behind the scenes that nobody knew about. And my mom was, aware of the situation, but she didn't make any of the very important decisions and or discussions with the healthcare doctors and or the nurses, as me and Brenda actually did. So the reality is, hopefully you have somebody smart in your corner that can do that. I always say be an advocate for yourself and or your loved ones, because sometimes, and it's sad but true, some of the doctors are either A, young, and or B, they're fresh out of school, which in this case, it was at the Downey Presbyterian Hospital, I believe is what it's called. And they had made a whole revamp of the healthcare system, so much so that even the doctors and nurses were like, we don't like the way it's run, but we try to do the right thing. And they did. They really did. But sometimes they're all working against each other because you got independent contractor doctors, independent people doing independent stuff. So you have to kind of be like, okay, and even nurses, for those that don't know, nurses change from day to day. And sometimes information can get lost in between the shuffle. One doctor could say, I prescribe this, this, and this. And then the very next day they go, well, it looks like this in the computer system. We're like, yeah, but I talked to them that she has this, this, and that. Make sure that everybody knows your family history, your medical situation, all of that, because that may come up in the middle of everything, because sometimes doctors don't have access to your primary physician and or your actual records. Oddly enough, that happened over the weekend. And some of that stuff can be very, very, very relevant. Now, obviously, when you get checked in, they ask you, is there any pre-existing conditions? And you tell them all that. But if you get checked in and you can't think of any of your stuff, who's going to take care of you in the middle of it all? These are questions that need to be answered, people. And I'm the first to say, look, get the information out there. Try to deal with it as best as you can. Doctors are fallible. They're not infallible. They know it. And nurses as well. Just try to keep up with everything. Now, the great thing is, because they've been through a lot, they're still very much aware of what to do, what not to do, and the like. However, I did have a concern because they put her on what's it called? Not Resperdal. What's the new one, which is the one that Trump did? But they're testing that, I feel, on her to see if it's going to work. That's one of the people in the hospital. I'm not going to throw all of their information out because that's their own personal business. But I do this to share with people, again, how quickly something can go really bad really quick. Okay, so I don't know if that one is 100% good. I know that there's things that sometimes don't work with that. But there you go. And I don't know, maybe it was requested by her. I don't know, because there's so much information not come back yet. So we don't know. But again, be careful out there. Have these questions answered ahead of time with your family members. Trust that those that know you will do the right thing. I always go, don't pull the plug, right? If I'm capable, if I'm brain dead, okay, fine, pull the plug, right? But prove that I'm brain dead first. Even when it comes to death, I'm really like that person, because I go, I don't want to be in the coffin when all of a sudden I wake up and I go, I wasn't dead. I'm that person. I go, don't bury me just yet, right? So, and or burn me just yet. I get weird about that. I don't know why, because I think we report on so many different things of people that all of a sudden wake up in a body bag. They're like, I'm alive, whatever, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of questions I have, and I don't want to. I never want to go to the hospital. B, I don't ever want to get COVID. And C, let's keep on the morning show 100%. Okay, so if you want to keep the morning show on, remember, although we talk about aliens, we love aliens, right? I mean, I don't think if there were aliens that wanted to take us out, they would have already taken us out. It's true. So I think the majority are peace-loving aliens. I really do. I think that. And I think that the really bad people, unfortunately, are mankind that want to push a button and or kill each other and or take out a gun and shoot somebody in the head. Those are the bad people. Does that make sense? Does anybody agree on that? I agree on that. So there you go. Let's see. Maria says, we got mom's plan already this year, just in case something happens to her. So I agree with you, Aaron. Be ready indeed. Good. Yeah, you have to have that discussion. Hey, in the worst case scenario, if this were to happen, don't get all depressed with it. Stay through it. It's not like we're all going to die, because we're not. We have to just stay alive as long as possible through it all, and or get well from it, and or get the proper information, and or have access to people that actually make sense, because there's some people that just don't make sense. Don't listen to those people. Okay. Let's see. Algenia says, just tuning in. I have done all that. Have done my dual power of attorney. There you go. Algenia says, that's what I'm doing now. Wonder Woman for many over the years. Awesome. Very good, Algenia. And there you go. Let's see. All right. So we've talked everything from ancient aliens, because evidently they're amongst us. We knew that already, right? No, maybe so. We theorized. Okay, whatever. And then there's other people that just need to be very safe out there, no matter what your designation is, right? And what I mean by that is, you never know. You could be an alien as well, not even know it. I think there's a lot of people that have ancient alien DNA. What? It's a thing. Go look it up. Ancient aliens. It's interesting information. I don't know if I believe it all, but there you go. If it's true or not, I don't really care. All I care about is life is precious. Live it well. And if you're alive, let's remain alive. Okay, people? I love you. Thank you for making it a great day here on the morning show. Again, be kind to one another. Seriously. Humankind, mankind, alien kind, ancient kind, joint kind of states of government. Be kind. All right, people, make it a great one. Bye-bye, everyone.